Actress Ellen Page released a Facebook post today detailing her own experience with sexual abuse and misconduct in the entertainment industry. In this lengthy statement, she calls out director Brett Ratner for outing her on the set of X-Men: The Last Stand. She also calls out a director that took her out to dinner when she was 16 and fondled her under the table. It is a really long statement. I urge you to please read the whole thing. It was incredibly moving for me to read and just to get the full context of what she's talking about. But here are some quotes I highlighted. Look at the history of what's happening to minors who've described sexual abuse in Hollywood. Some of them are no longer with us, lost to substance abuse and suicide. Their victimizers still working, protected even as I write this. You know who they are. They've been discussed behind closed doors as often as Weinstein was. If I, a person with significant privilege, remain reluctant and at such risk simply by saying a person's name, what are the options for those who do not have what I have? Let's remember the epidemic of violence against women in our society disproportionately affects low-income women, particularly women of color, trans and queer women, and indigenous women who are silenced by their economic circumstances and profound mistrust of a justice system that acquits the guilty in the face of overwhelming evidence and continues to oppress people of color. She also goes on to say that what we've done so far in this day of reckoning in Hollywood is not enough. She wants to see actions go further. She says, I've heard the industry decry Weinstein's behavior and vow to effect meaningful change. But let's be truthful. The list is long and still protected by the status quo. We have work to do. We cannot look the other way. I did a Woody Allen movie and it is the biggest regret of my career. When she sort of talks about what she wants to see, what is the growth of the industry, which is I think great about this statement is that she talks about the issues and then what she wants to see changed. She says, I want to see these men have to face what they have done. I want them to not have power anymore. I want them to sit and think about who they are without their lawyers, their millions, their fancy cars, houses upon houses, their Playboy status and swagger. This is a long-awaited reckoning. It must be. It's sad that codes of conduct have to be enforced to ensure we experience fundamental human decency and respect. Inclusion and representation are the answer. So, Simone, I want to toss it over to you. She says inclusion and representation are the answer. I agree. Do you?
Absolutely. I think that what is happening in Hollywood right now is symptomatic of an industry that hasn't traditionally had a lot of women working behind the scenes and in the higher ranks of a lot of these studios. And I think that if you were to remedy that situation, the lack of inclusion and diversity behind the scenes, then I think that you would see a lot of these situations, or at least I hope, I can't predict the future, but at least I hope that a lot of these situations could be avoided because maybe if a woman who has been victimized doesn't feel comfortable talking to one of her male colleagues about this, maybe if there were more female colleagues around her, she might feel more comfortable or more safe explaining this sort of situation to them. Now that doesn't mean that women haven't aided and abetted these men. We know that they have, and some women have facilitated these sorts of behaviors. But I wonder if we wouldn't see less of these, sexual misconduct cases if we had more women working behind the scenes in Hollywood.
Yeah. So let's say that in the scenario that she explains when she was 16. She goes to a dinner with this male director and he begins to fondle her, right? And says and propositions her. If there was also a woman at the dinner, would the male director have been as outrageous? Or would he have maybe checked himself thinking, oh wait, maybe she might not think it's kosher. Maybe that'll get me in trouble. I don't know, but it's a question worth asking. And for the guys who are like, oh, she's talking about, these powerful guys shouldn't have houses upon houses. No, her point is that they shouldn't then take that. They can have all the houses in the world they want as long as they're not sexually assaulting 16-year-olds. And so her point is about the abuse of power. And I think that this is, and I've said this now many times, this is an amazing moment where women are rising up and saying enough. And what you guys, and maybe you didn't think it was a big deal because you didn't see it, because it didn't happen to you. But now here we are, we're telling you what happened, and it's kind of happening all at once because everybody's gathering up the courage to finally come out and say their tales. But it's not okay to fondle a 16-year-old under the table and ask her to sleep with you, and then she's got other stories about how her grip then sexually assaulted her. Her grip is a particular kind of job on a set. and then how another powerful man, a director, asked her to sleep with another man in his late 20s and to tell them about it. All of these propositions. And this is the same thing that happens with racism. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So for a second, try to walk in their shoes. You're 16, you just got to Hollywood and you're trying to be an actor, and this is an amazing moment, and a director asks you to dinner, and you're gonna make it, and you feel fantastic, and next thing you know, he's all over you. How would you feel? So I'm so glad that they're coming out and taking a stand and calling out what it is, because this is hopefully that it gets those powerful guys to pause and to worry about what might happen to them, because that is unfortunately the only thing that a lot of people care about. The next time they do this, will I get outed? Great. If they're about to do something terrible, they should pause, and they should worry about that.
And for so long, Hollywood has sort of likened itself to be the beacon of morality. We're so progressive, we're so accepting, and this is the example that we should be setting for the rest of the world. And obviously, at the core, it was rotten. It wasn't good. And right now, we're having this day of reckoning, and I think that is good, because you need to weed out the people that were encouraging this toxic culture in this industry. But what I like about Ellen Page's statement is that she takes that, she's like, this is what's going on in Hollywood, but we know that this is an epidemic of violence against women in our society that disproportionately affects, and then she takes it, so it's more than just in Hollywood. Yeah, we're talking about it because these are public figures, names that you've heard of before, but let's carry this over. This isn't the only industry that is rotten, that have been disproportionately victimizing women and men with the abuse of power, sexual misconduct. Let's weed all those rotten people out, because they have no business working if you are gonna behave yourself in that way.
The true test is gonna be, and I totally agree with you, Grace, before I move on, I think we need to address sexism and issues of sexual misconduct in politics, for one. I mean, there are so many other industries that sort of need that cleansing, that purging. But it's gonna be really interesting to see how Hollywood discusses this, how they react to it, what is the story that Hollywood will tell the world come award season, when it's supposed to be all, golden statues and regalia and Hollywood is perfect. Is Hollywood gonna be honest? That is what needs to happen. Save me the high and mighty political speeches if you can't get honest about what is happening right here.
So I think what connects Hollywood and politics is positions of power. And so this is directly one of those issues where people abuse the power that they have for people that work under them or that are trying to get positions. Roger Ailes in TV, even before he was at Fox News, would have people lining up for auditions to get on talk shows. And he said, if you don't sleep with me, or like undescribable acts, etc., then you're not going to make it onto TV. And so now this is Hollywood in terms of movies. The music industry might be the worst of all. And in any situation where you have a person that can either make or break your career, and unfortunately in media, that is very, very true. There's only a certain number of movies that are made. There's only a certain number of TV jobs that are out there, a certain number of people who make it in the music industry, and you put powerful men into those positions, and sometimes powerful women, but in these cases it's been much more men. And they prey not just on women, but also on men, okay, depending on their proclivities. And you give them that kind of power, then you have to be really, really careful. And if you're not careful, this is what happens. And for decades and decades, we were not remotely careful. So when Simone talks about cleansing out people, of course we're not talking about all men or all people in power. We're talking about the bad actors.
The bad guys.
The bad guys who are using their position of power and abusing it for their own pleasure and etc. and preying on women and men to do that. And yes, we absolutely positively have to clean that out so that people make it on their own merit and not on this nonsense. And so you don't have all these victims who, by the way, in almost all the stories are scarred for the rest of their lives. And we only find out about it now. So that lasts with them forever. If you like this clip of the Young Turks, there's a whole live 2-hour show, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern every day. And you can download it or stream it and watch it without ads if you become a member. TYTnetwork.com/join.